All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem HaKakodash. All right, double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught me the truth and the sincere peace, blessings, and salutations to your Hakim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his knowledge and truth and his sincerity. It's the brother Brazar from the GMS Arizona Camp, Lord Will, with another quick lesson, a quick hit, all right, to edify the sheep. Yahabashim Yahushai, Lord willing. All right. All right, in this lesson, I want to go into frustrations you feel in striving, okay, for the masteries of frustration and temperance will be the title of the lesson. All right, because there's going to be points of frustration in striving to be temperate in all things. Hey, that's the truth of the matter. The reality is we're locked into these chains of darkness, being these bodies, and these bodies are geared towards sin. All right, where we dwell, our spirits, our souls dwell in sinful flesh. All right, and yet still we're here trying to live righteously and trying to push and strive towards living a more righteous life, cleaning up our act, cleaning up the things that are detrimental to life that dwell within us. And it's a constant fight, it's a constant battle, right? And you're gonna reach points of frustration in trying to do what's right in this wicked ass kingdom. And that's point blank period. All right, because the flesh wants what it wants. The flesh is always looking for pleasure. And a lot of times, it takes a lot of times, your body just wants to give in. In your mind, you want to give in. But that's part of the battle. Okay, that's part of the fight that we must fight. And coming back to the understanding and the knowledge of the truth. This is 1 Corinthians 9:25. This is going to be a quick hit. It says, "And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible." See? I'm going to read down a bit. It says, "I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air." It says, "But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway." All right, and that's a key part of striving for the mastery, is fighting to learn how to keep your body, to discipline your body and bring it into subjection, into subjection of the spirit. Easier said than done. But that's that fight, that's that battle, that's that war against the spirit, and between the spirit and the flesh, warring against one another constantly. For example, and there's many examples, but there are times, where, hey, you want to get it in with your woman, but either you in the midst of the Sabbath, or the Sabbath is approaching, and between what you're doing at the current time, you might be working or whatever, it's not going to be time for that. And in the back of your mind is Satan to start playing games with you. Hey, the Most High don't care about this one time. It's fine. Don't worry about it. He understands. That's how Satan try to creep in there and try to knock you off your square and doing the things that pertain unto righteousness. Start sowing into the flesh, start giving into the flesh, start getting weak. All right. See, our lives don't belong to us. Our lives belong to Yahabashim Yahushai, and that includes our leisure. So while other people that are in the world, they get to do whatever they want with their free time, there are times where you want to just kick back. You want to just kick back and watch TV. You want to kick back and watch TV, but in your back of your mind, you know you got studies. In your mind, you know you gotta get into the scriptures. In your mind, you know you gotta do a lesson. Um, man, I swear, see, that's Satan, man. Soon as I cut the camera on, then everybody in the house want to start yelling. My son want to start coming to the door, want to start bothering me, want to start distracting me. You know that's Satan. Um, but anyway, like I was saying, there's a constant battle there. There's a constant war. So there's times where you can grow frustrated. Those times that you know you had those moments where it don't feel as pleasant. And doing the right thing because the flesh wants otherwise. See, but that's where you're coming into striving for that discipline. All right, because let's get the word temperate. Okay.
1467. Ekratuamai.
All right, and it says to be self-controlled, continent, to exhibit self-government conduct, oneself temperately. In a figure drawn from athletes who, in preparing themselves for games, abstain from unwholesome unwholesome food, wine, and sexual indulgence. All right. Then that takes a lot of discipline. You don't think that these men that are in training camps desire a woman, but what they have to do is abstain, and they got to keep their eyes on the prize and continue to press forward towards the mark. See, when you're striving for something, you're striving. Here, let's get the word. All right, so if we get the word strive, this is the simple Google definition. It says strive. It says to make great efforts to achieve or obtain something. All right, to struggle or fight vigorously. All right, so to make great efforts to achieve or obtain something, what are we trying to obtain? That incorruptible crown. All right, for an athlete that has to be self-controlled, or abstain from certain things like food, wine, sexual indulgence, in preparing for, an event. They're striving towards a goal, man. They're pressing towards, or they're making great efforts to achieve or obtain something, the same way that we're making great efforts to achieve or obtain that incorruptible crown. Okay, that deliverance, the salvation. Okay, making our calling and election sure. Those great efforts means that we don't get to do what everybody else is doing. That we're gonna live a different kind of life. We're on a different path than the rest of the world. So it takes a different level of discipline. The scriptures talk about to whom much is given, much is required. Okay, and there's nothing that's more precious than this truth. So in those moments where the majority of the masses get to indulge, all right, then we are in a position where we have to abstain. And you can have moments of frustration because of that. That's the reality of it. But what we're doing is trying to do the best that we can to do things pleasing in the eyes of the Lord. All we can do is continue to endure and continue to suffer until Yahweh Shem Hashai delivers us. All right. Let me get a few more scriptures. Okay, because Galatians paints a clear picture on how the flesh and the spirit wars against one another. This is Galatians 5:17. It says, for the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things ye would do. That really don't need any explanation. See, the flesh and the spirit are contrary one to another. that ye cannot do the things that you would. The things that you want to do, you can't do. Because, sowing into the spirit, sowing into the flesh too much, that is not the way to go. This flesh is sinful, so what is it going to lust after? Sin. All right, you want to walk in the spirit. This is verse 18. It says, "But if ye are led of the spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these." See, these are the things that the flesh lusts after. All right. It says adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. So it could put your salvation, your deliverance, it could put your crown in jeopardy, giving into that flesh too much, even though it might be what you want to do at the time, and it might not even be any wicked thing, because there's certain things that you might want to eat, all right, that are unhealthy, that you just may have to eat in moderation, or you just you shouldn't really have, because that's a pleasure. And you can't do that, because we've been made aware of what's right and then what's wrong, of what's good and what's evil. We these things have been made known unto us, and now we have to apply that wisdom into our lives. All right, which can be difficult at times. There could be times when you just don't want to do the right thing, as far as what you're supposed to eat, or you'd rather sit on the couch rather than get up and exercise. You'll rather kick back, watch TV, and watch that movie or that new show or that game, rather than study and put up a lesson. All of these things, man. And there are times where it's like, man, I just want to do what I want. You can grow frustrated. And then that's where these scriptures need to come to mind, to where you have to keep that fight going and you have to continue to push, because there's going to come a time where we're going to get our reward. There's going to come a time where we're going to be able to reap, and we're going to be able to rest. We're not going to have to worry about these things, because we're going to have more than we would ever wish for. We're going to have an abundance of everything. So we're going to be able to live in pleasure. But right now we're in a time of suffering. Okay? And that's why it feels the way it does. Okay, when we have to abstain and exercise that temperance. This is Titus 2:1. It says, "But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, charity, in patience." Let me read that again. It says, verse 2, that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience. All right. And that word patience, let's get that real quick, because that brings it all together. Patience says,
Strong's G 5281. Hupamane. Hupamane.
all right, it says steadfastness, constancy, endurance. See, we got to have a level of endurance in this thing. Okay. The scriptures say that he that endure unto the end shall be saved. It says in the New Testament, the characteristic of a man who has not swerved from his deliberate purpose and his loyalty to faith and piety by even the greatest trials and sufferings. All right. That's being deeply rooted. That's been deeply rooted in the faith, in spite of the things that we go through. says patiently and steadfastly, a patient, steadfast waiting for, a patient enduring, sustaining perseverance. Down in the Strongs, it says cheerful or hopeful endurance, constancy, enduring, patient continuance. So patience goes into perseverance. It goes into trials and sufferings and not being swerved from your purpose in spite of. Okay, and that's what we are to do. That's what we are to do as men of the Lord, as potential members of the 144,000 elect. Now, this is Galatians 6:9. It says, and let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not, man. So those moments when we get weak and when we get tired of always having to, exercise this, be strong, and we gotta be patient, and we gotta eat right, and we gotta abstain from doing certain things, and we gotta do all of these things. This level of discipline that this truth requires is great. And anything where you have to exercise great discipline can be tough at times, and you can have moments of weakness and moments of frustration, but it's all about continuing to fight through it, getting back on the path, praying to Yahweh Shimei Shai, and latching on to those things that give you strength, because at some point, the scriptures say that the Lord is going to renew our strength. But as of right now, he set us up with tools, with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. This comforter that he gave us through the Holy Spirit, so that we can continue to stay strong enough to endure the suffering and the trials. Because in due season that we're going to reap all of the promises that the Lord promised through the covenant unto the nation of Israel, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But let us remind ourselves in those moments to not be weary in well-doing, because when you respecting the Sabbath, all right, when you are honoring the Lord's temple, which is your body, by putting the right things into it, all of these things lead to life. All of these things lead to good health and a good state of mind. All right, all of these things are for your benefit. Okay, this is well-doing. When you're putting up lessons, you're doing what the Lord commanded. He said, "Feed my sheep." Okay, and we have this talent, like Elder Apostle Gabar did a video. We had this talent. We ought to use it. So you're doing the work. You're doing the will of Yahweh Shimei Shai. Hey, take pleasure in that. Take pleasure in that more than the pleasure when you're sowing things to the flesh. Okay, so just an encouragement and exhortation to Akim that, hey, we're going to have points of frustration and striving for the mastery. All right, but in due season, we're going to reap, okay, if we faint not. So always remind ourselves and arm ourselves with that information for in those moments of weakness, we get back up, man, and we continue to fight and push forward toward the mark. So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. Until next time, Shalom.